My brother used to torment me in ways I can't forget. He'd call me names like loser, nerd, and even mummy's pet. There were forms of torture he'd employ, some types I'll never name. The response was swift if I'd tell mum my brother was to blame. His favourite one? The typewriter. This pain doth thou protest. He'd pin my arms down with his knees and type hard on my chest. I'd twist and groan and call out, "Mum!" My protests rarely hurt. Small tears forming in my eyes, my sight becoming blurred. But wait, it did get worse some days, his head looming over mine. From his putrid mouth he'd lower spit to suck up just in time. And he wasn't always successful with this lowering of spit down south. One time when I was screaming loud, it dropped into my mouth. At certain moments in your life, you must stand up and be bold. After years of torment, my revenge was a dish best served up cold. One day, no parents, us kids at home, big sister, brother, and me, another fight had broken out, and the same target was me. Squirming on the ground, pinned down, fingers poking at my chest. Of all the options I could use, one choice stood out as best. Upset at my bully brother and being under his thumb, it just so happened at the time I was chewing bubble gum. Instinctively, I grabbed that glob and smushed it in his thick hair. That wad of gum made such a mess, enraged, I didn't care. His face morphed into beetroot, a dark and crimson red. My sister cried out, "Run away!" I thought, "Oh, I'm so dead." So I ran in fear, at breakneck speed, disappearing from the fight, and realised when I got outside, no brother was in sight. I waited, trembling, racing heart, crouched down behind thick shrubs, expecting him to arrive at once, wielding bats or spears or clubs. But it never happened on that day. I waited there in vain. So I peeked in through the window to check if it was safe again. To my surprise, my older bro sat defeated in a chair, while my older sister carefully cut chunks out of his hair. I'm no monster, there was some guilt. I did feel mild regret. But if you keep on poking me, a response is what you'll get. Now looking like a hairless monk with a ball patch at the rear, my brother wore a hat for weeks while I secretly lived in fear. The response expected never came. Perhaps some lessons were learnt. That if you play with fire too much, one day you will get burnt. You'll be glad to know my bro and I made up and all was well. But I never talk about that day that we bid his hair farewell.